Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to discuss about Python if-else conditional statements. Let us get started. If you have not watched my previous videos, please do watch them. I will provide their link in the description section below. Let us start with the Python conditional statements. If, else, elif comes under Python conditional statements. Python conditional statements are generally used for decision-making operations such as checking conditions, executing a particular code only if the particular condition is satisfied. Now let us see the syntax of if condition. We write the if condition as follows. We use the keyword if and then followed by a condition in the parenthesis and then a semicolon. This semicolon is must. And then we write multiple statements under the if condition. This is called as if block. These statements will be executed only when the condition inside the parenthesis returns true. After the execution of this if block, the rest of the code continues to execute. Here statement 3 doesn't come under if block. If you notice here, the Python doesn't have a syntax like flower braces. The Python by default use indentation to distinguish between two different blocks. Here this statement 1 and statement 2 is given a tab space. You can notice here there is a tab space between this if and statement 1 and statement 2. This is called as indentation. In Python, if we give indentation, we are telling to Python that these statement 1 and statement 2 will come under the same block. By giving the same indentation level, you can see that they are aligned perfectly vertically. Indentation is nothing but starting from the same position. The statement should start from the same position. Then the statements that are at same indentation level will be treated as a block of code. These statements will execute only if and only if the condition is true. Now let us see the example of this if syntax. We are taking the value of a as 10. We have written a condition a less than 20. As 10 is less than 20, the a less than 20 internally evaluates and returns true. As we got true in the if condition part, this if block will execute. Now let us run this and see. You can see that the if block is executed as a less than 20 returned true. For example, let us change a value to 30. Now a less than 20 will return false. Now the if block will not execute. Just this print statement executes, rest of the program will run. You can see here. The a less than 20 condition failed as it returned false. The condition returned false, so if don't execute. By default, only this line of code will be executed. If it satisfies the condition, along with this line of code, these print statements also executes. First, this print statement will be printed and then this line will be printed if the condition is true. If the condition is false, only this line will be printed. We have seen that before. Now coming to the if-else statement, first thing to notice is else can be defined only in combination with if. Otherwise, we will get an error. If we just define else without if statement, Python will raise an error. Now let us see the flow of if-else statement. You can see the syntax of if-else condition here. If the condition is true, the statement 1 and statement 2 will execute. In rest of any case, the else statements will be executed. If the condition is failed, for suppose this condition returned false, then definitely this else statement will be executed. Let us see this in flowchart. The same whichever I explained here is represented in this flowchart. If the condition is true, it will take this route and execute the if block. And then comes out of the if block and executes the rest of the code. If we have some statements after this if else block, those statements will be executed in this path. If the condition is failed, that is if the condition returned false, then this path will be executed. If the condition is false, only else block will be executed, and then similarly the rest of the code executes the same. From this flowchart, we can understand that if condition will be executed only when the condition returned in the parenthesis returns true. Else block will be executed only if the condition is false. Now let us see the example here. Here we have taken a equal to 15 and we have written a expression a greater than 10, which is true as the value of a is 15. 15 greater than 10 will return true. So this block of statements will be executed. These two statements will come under if block. So as 15 greater than 10 returns true, these two statements will be executed. For suppose, let us assume that the value of a is 5. Then this condition will be false. This if block will not be executed. Then the flow comes to else block. These two statements under the else block will be executed. It prints inside else block and then it prints a is less than or equal to 10. Now let us see the same example in execution. See, we have taken first the value of a as 15 and let us run this code. You can see that first the print statement that is written before if block is printed. As 15 is greater than 10, this condition satisfies. So this if block will be printed. You can see here it printed inside if block and a is greater than 10. These are the statements that we have written under the if block. As the condition is true, these two statements is printed. Now the else block doesn't execute as the condition is true. Else block only executes when the condition is false. After the execution of if, the flow directly comes to this print statement. This will be executed. You can see here code after if else block is printed. Now let us change the value of a as 5 as discussed in the above example. Now you can see here this line is executed before executing the else block. Now you can see as 5 greater than 10, this statement will return false. As this expression returned false, the if block will not be executed. By default, the flow goes to the else block. So it printed inside else block and also printed a is less than or equal to 10. These are the two statements we have written under the else block. You can see it here. And after that the flow comes here and prints code after if else block. Let me once again recap this. First the flow starts here and this statement will be printed. And if the condition is true, this if block will be printed. The else block will not be executed if this condition is true. And then the flow comes to here and prints this statement. Now let us take another case, the value of a as 5. In that case also the flow starts here. It prints this statement and then checks this condition 5 greater than 10. As 5 greater than 10 is false, this will not execute these two statements which are written under if block. The flow comes here. As this statement is false, it should execute else. So it prints these two statements and then the flow comes here and prints these statements and the program will be terminated. I think now you are clear with the if else flow of execution. When does the if block execute and when does the else block execute? Now let us see the values accepted by the if condition. You can see these type of values like numerical, strings are asked in questions related to Python in company hirings. That's why in order to give you an idea, I took these boundary cases. Let us discuss these boundary cases. The Python if statement accepts numerical, string as well as boolean values. All the numerical values except 0 will be treated as true. 0 will be treated as false in if condition. All the strings are also treated as true except the empty string. Now let us see these points in action. Let us take the value inside if as 1. Let us execute the statement. As 1 is considered as true, this if block will be executed. You can see here inside if block is printed. Now let us take 0 here. As 0 is treated as false, you can see here it printed inside else block. Let us take a float value also. You can see the float value is also treated as true. Now let us take a negative number. The negative number is also treated as true. Now I am taking a string. Let us take Python. You can see the string also evaluated as true. That's why this if block is printed. Now let us give empty string as the input. You can see here I'm not giving any value, just passing an empty string to this if statement. You can see here the else block is executed. As this empty string will be evaluated as false, this else block will be executed. By this, we have completed our discussion with if-else statements. In the coming videos, we will be discussing about the combination of if-else and elif. I hope you liked the video. If you like the video, please do subscribe my channel and press on the bell icon in order to receive notifications whenever I upload a new video. Please like the video and subscribe. This will motivate me to create more videos on Python. Thank you for watching my video. Let us meet in the next video.